Maxwell Stein, who is the Director of Digital Assets at BlackRock, will be speaking at RippleSwell 2025 in November. Let's talk more about this when we get back because this might be bigger than most people think. Now I'm going to share some of my own thoughts with you. Welcome back to the Crypto ZX Show, XRP family. As always, thank you guys. Let us check out what's going on with the market. You guys already know what's been going on for the past 24 hours, right? The market has a lot of red. From what you can see, everything is down between 7 and 10% based on the coin you look at. In USD, XRP is down about 7.3% from where it was 24 hours ago. But if you look at the last hour, the crypto market has gone up, which is good to see. But when I get the charts, we'll talk a bit more about what they mean. The price of XRP is what's really going on. Let's live refresh it right now. It is now worth $293, which is 7.4% less than it was yesterday in US dollars. It is also worth about 5% less in Bitcoin with a value of $170.7 billion and a 24-hour trading volume of about $8 billion. But before we go any further, as always, just so you know, nothing on this channel is meant to be taken as business advice. As with any investment, you should always do your own study before putting money into crypto. Just so you know, BTC is now moving back up. Just 30 minutes ago, we were sitting at about 114,300. Now we're going to be at 115,200. And since then, BTC has seen a pretty big move up. Keep in mind that it's a new month and that there is generally some volatility at the end of the month. However, tariff announcements have begun to come on again. I've told you guys before what I think about the tariff problem. And I know it seems like the market doesn't care as much about that news anymore since a lot of countries are coming to an agreement. But, Trump did say that Canada's tariffs would go up from 25% to 35%. That is also something we need to think about. Anyway, please tell me what you think in the comments below. We'll get back to the charts, though. Let's keep talking about what's going on. In the last 4 hours, $400 billion was taken out of the cryptocurrency market. It should be 400 million, not 400 billion. That's a crazy $400 million. But guys, look at this. Smart money, smart money. This is what we need to pay attention to. So, over $4 billion came into BlackRock's iShares Ethereum ETF every month in July, making it the month with the most money coming in since it started. No one has been this interested in the ETF since it first came out. What's going on here? Smart money is building up, and this is something we shouldn't ignore. The fact that smart money is focusing on ETH tells me that they want ETH to do well. A lot of people are also starting to focus on Ethereum protocols because if ETH does well, then Ethereum protocols will obviously benefit. I also think that altcoins will benefit because ETH is such a huge indicator when it comes to altcoins. But enough about that. Take a look at this now. Tom Lee says that Wall Street will bet on Ethereum to be part in making it better as it moves toward becoming a coin. The world is now on blockchain. This is what makes controlled finance different from decentralized finance. Everything is slowly but surely being brought on chain, and we'll talk more about this later in the update. For now, though, let's just look ahead and see. You know that Paul Adkins unveils. You may know that Project Crypto is a push by the whole commission to bring securities rules up to date and put our financial markets on the blockchain. Take a look at this. As I said earlier today, we are on the verge of a new era in the history of our markets. That is why I am announcing the start of Project Crypto, a commission-wide effort to update the security rules and laws so that America's financial markets can move on-chain. Market digital bonds worth $337 trillion, investment funds worth $314 trillion, or about $155 trillion, and public stock worth $123 trillion. At this point, we've seen examples of a few different types of things. The most important one is the real estate example from Dubai that I recently showed you. And when you think about that, you realize how important this is. Besides that, Robinhood keeps track of how well Ripple tokenization of RWA on the XRPL is working. There are now hundreds of millions of tokens, and soon there will be hundreds of billions. I'd like to go over what I was talking about again. BlackRock cast a Ripple spell. What's the big deal about this? What's the big deal about this, you might ask? We know right now that the ETF is not okay. ETFs are still being made, and the cutoff is sometime in late August. The SEC has until late October to decide whether they will not accept it, just say they're appealing or something else. The interesting part is that there is a lot of guesswork involved, and I'm also guessing about what's going on. We don't really know what's going on, but the interesting part is that BlackRock knows exactly what Ripple is doing and what XRP token is. This kind of explains it and shows that the head of digital assets at BlackRock is going to be speaking at Ripple. Is there going to be some kind of link soon? It might not even be an ETF. What about making tokens? Do not forget, what about tokenization? Take a look at this. Robinhood says that tokenization is based on Ripple's RWA's success. XRP ledger. Now is the time to ask, are these puzzle pieces beginning to fit together? But on top of that, what if BlackRock files for an ETF sometime in August or even September? We know it's not there. We know that BlackRock and Fidelity, which have some of the biggest AUMs, don't have it. As I've said in other videos, just the fact that they filed would be a pretty bullish sign. Or is there something else? Could they come sometime this month or in September with this ETF filing to kind of go up against the other companies? Please let me know in the comments below, because if this happens and the rate might also go down, things can really move along pretty quickly. So we could see what happened at the end of last year. I believe that many of these kinds of signs have already begun to come true. People who have been paying attention know how quickly the market grew and how quickly XRP hit its all-time highs. Obviously not an unofficial all-time high, but a real one. It did make it to that place in the end. People forget those things, but we should try not to. That being said, it's not impossible. We are guessing about the things we are talking about, but it's not an impossible guess. Time will clearly tell us what really happens in the end, but please share your own opinions below. But look at this. Ripple was way ahead of its time. In fact, White House stories today didn't say much about Ripple, XRP, or RLUSD. I think they are very much in the game and very deep. Yes, I totally agree. These are one of the very few people or companies that went into the financial business, and this video pretty much makes that point. It went into, and while crypto was still in its early stages, they went to the current financial industry and told them that their method is out of date. This is what you need to pay attention to. And in this film, this man pretty much makes it clear that he works at Ripple. Things were very different back then. Blockchain was still in its early stages. So, of course, you have to look at it from the bank's point of view as well. A lot of people are hesitant at first, but as more and more people do study and get more education, more and more people are starting to get it. This is the reason why so many people are becoming interested. On top of that, clear regulations are also a huge factor. Having said that, let's look at what's really going on with the price there. In terms of control, let's refresh it live and see what's going on. You could say that the power is still going up at 2% right now. Even though Bitcoin went back above 115,000, it hasn't slowed down. So you can really understand what I'm talking about. Let me show you what happened with BTC every hour. In fact, Bitcoin dropped to $114,155. However, it has since gone up and is now back above 115,000, which is good to see. But we're not quite out of the woods yet. We're just not moving too quickly. We need to push back more than 117,000. If it can do that, we might be able to talk about that. I don't think we're out of the woods yet, but that is an interesting move that you should think about. And the reason I'm more sure that we're still not out of the woods, I wouldn't say optimistic, is that we're still seeing the dominance push to the upside. But if you look at XRP right now, it is still, let's give her a live update to see what's going on with XRP. So you could see for yourself, the price of XRP is still $2.93. Our tests have not yet been done again at that $3 price point. There is no doubt that we have a lot of backing where we are now. I'd love to see the price go back up above $3 though, which I think will happen very quickly because Bitcoin needs to decide what it wants to do. But there is only a 2.47 move to the upside. What if it doesn't happen? Where do you think the price of XRP will fall? I think the most important support line right now is around 280. In that case, 280 would be the next important level of support for XRP if these don't hold. To give you an idea of how big that is, the $2.80 would be an extra drop of about 4.12%. But once more, don't forget what XRP has done in such a short time. That being said, it is retracing right now, which not many people want to see, but we need to wake up and look at the market as a whole. This is happening all over the market. But please tell me what you think in the comments below. After CryptoZX, I'll see you again. Goodbye.